Super fun episode of the Talent Takeover Unfiltered. This is going to go into how do you get comfortable with having really difficult conversations? And this was inspired by one of our past episodes. We're like, we had to ferociously write it down. We're like, this is such a good topic. Taylor, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? I was about to say, I'm doing well. How are you? You just went right in there. But no, I'm doing great. We've been recording this morning, had some good episodes. So I've got all this good energy. I know you do too. So I'm excited about this episode because I feel like a lot of people struggle with this. So if you want, you're eager, let's get right in there. Brianna?
Well, let's not forget about what are you going to do at the end of the episode?
I'm, of course, going to hit him with a broke to boss tip of the week. Of course. These guys know that. These listeners, I shouldn't say guys. These listeners know that. But yes, thank you for the reminder. And as always, guys, I feel like they're very informative. I would also love if you guys want to write us any broke to boss tips that you would recommend. Make sure you subscribe, all that good shit, right? That we're supposed to say all that good fluffy shit.
I know, right? Let's get the fluff going. And also, if you didn't know, we are recording live. You get to see these beautiful faces on YouTube on the Millionaire Recruiter channel. So don't forget to check that out.
It's beautiful Botox faces.
I just got mine fixed. Thank God. All right,
what did you get fixed? No, people want to hear. What did you get fixed?
One of my eyebrows. And by the way, someone on the Millionaire Recruiter noticed, and they're like, I can't not focus on your Botox. I'm like, I'm getting it fixed, people.
Oh my God. You have to create a video, a PSA, like, just so all you motherfuckers know, I'm getting my eyebrow fixed. I don't want to hear about it again. That's fucking hilarious.
I know. Don't you think I'm crying about this? Little internet trolls. Okay.
I was about to say trolls. People that take the time to say shit like that just blow my mind. It's like, who cares?
Welcome to Talent Takeover
Unfiltered.
When it comes to working hard and keeping it real, we know our shit. Self-care, happiness, inner peace, and time. I'm Brianna Rooney, and this is Taylor Bradley.
Hey, y'all.
And we have thrived in chaos and turned it into an art form. So, Taylor, what are we doing here today?
We're here to give you a raw, under-the-hood view of all things recruiting and finally give credit where credit is due to a long underrated industry that's full of quote-unquote experts.
All right. Well, then let's take this show to the road.
How often do you actually see an applicant tracking system that claims what it does? I know me, it's like never. Well, this is where I want to quickly mention our sponsor, Recruit CRM, with the response time of less than 2 minutes. Yes, you have heard it right. Recruit CRM has set a stellar benchmark in customer service. What's more, it takes only 5 minutes to migrate to their ATS. This is seriously unheard of. Well, to say at least, the ease of use and excellent customer support are the two major reasons why recruiters have been migrating from Bullhorn and Job Adder to using Recruit CRM. Go, 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 go. We can feel their customers' love in the reviews that Recruit CRM has across all their major review boards. And if you want to learn more about this amazing ATS plus CRM, head on to recruitcrm.io. And you can always start their unlimited time trial or even book a demo.
Anyways, right. So let's get right into it. I'd love to know, like, how do you get comfortable, or how did you get comfortable, or was there a moment, but getting comfortable having difficult conversations? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I'm going to show them. See this pen here? Pen, insert here. I am not joking.
I was like,
so inserting I have this pen that first of all, I'm a fidgeter, right? So like, that's just me. So I'm always holding something. But whenever I'm having a difficult conversation or one where like I need to calm my shit or I'm nervous or whatever, I, for some reason, put this pen in like the palm of my hand, and it like must trigger something, like the reflexology kind of thing. It must trigger me to calm the fuck down because it works every single time. And I know that's so weird.
No, what I was going to say, it's hilarious to me that I've actually noticed that about you, about with the hand thing. Because usually whenever we're talking, it's Google Meets, you're kind of further away. And so I can see. So there's two things I've noticed. You do the hand thing, and then you set back like this on one side on one arm. Ask Issa. It's like we picked up on these things and getting to know you like we have, which I feel like has been really well this last year. I'm like, that's interesting because we all have our little, like, what are they called when you're playing poker? Tells or something?
Oh, yeah.
Like our little, like, where we can tell what your emotions are in that moment. And so, but interesting that you use a pen and stab your hand as a way to cope through the difficult conversations. I would say that getting comfortable having difficult conversations for me has just been having them more frequently, And I would say one of the biggest things that I had to get over very early on, because I became a manager like very, very early on in my career. And I had to do them more frequently. And I had to just get over, not everybody's going to like you. When you have to deliver difficult news and you're not the cheerleader and you're not the everybody's friend, and you have to be the manager, right? There's always going to be people that you have to hold accountable. I mean, you have to hold everyone accountable, but people that aren't doing their job, it's inevitable that if you're a manager, business owner, you're going to have difficult conversations. And so it's one of those things that it's like, it may never get easy firing people, letting people go. I don't think that anybody should ever view those things as easy, or I feel like, what are you as a human being if that gets easy? But having the difficult conversations, I feel like my perspective has completely changed on that. And I was actually talking to Jessica about this yesterday, because I kind of talk her through some of our episodes. And I'm like, I had to get over, like, people aren't going to like me. That's just, even though they're not doing their job and you're trying to hold them accountable, people just aren't going to like you when you try to hold them accountable. And I think that's one thing that everybody's just got to get over, is that you're not going to be liked all the time when you have to have those difficult conversations.
So how do you get over that when that's kind of ingrained in us since we're like in preschool? Go make friends, everybody, be friends with everybody. Like, how do you get over that? Was that a thing you got over in business? Did you like realize that in high school? Like, what was, like, talk me through that.
I can compartmentalize, I feel like, really, really well. And I feel like, even the friendships I've developed at work, like some of my closest friends are people that we work with, but they know when it comes to work, it's work for me. So I just have always told myself, like, it's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business. And I will tell myself that even to this day, because like you said in one of our previous episodes, it's so easy to, in theory, you shouldn't attach emotion to business, but it's easy to, and if you care, you're going to. But that's one of the things, it's not personal, it's business. And I really have been able to, like, even apply that to my own self and take a step back with decisions that have been made with regards to me throughout my career. And maybe at that time took it personal, and then realized, like, years later, months later, whatever, that had nothing to fucking do with me. And that was everything, like, in the best interest of the business. And I'm able just to see it with a different lens. And I also feel like working here too has just given me a different level of exposure to just all kinds of things. Like, as we both know, I don't really have a lane. I'm kind of like all over the place. And that exposure has given me, it's just given me a different perspective than I originally had. I'm able to, like, really compartmentalize and really understand my own weaknesses, my own strengths, and, like, self-reflect a lot more. And so I feel like that's one of the things that it's like, people can give me feedback. My reason for saying that is that people can give me feedback that I'm like, okay, that's fair. That makes sense. I may not love it. It may not feel good. It may not sound good. It may not be something I want to hear. And it may make me emotional later, but it can always make business sense to me if it makes business sense to me. And I know that makes no sense, but if it's a business decision, I can wrap my head around it. If it's something truly just like personal, obviously, that's kind of hard, because personal does impact business. We all know it. As much as it's not supposed to, it does. And I feel like that's where I get more frustrated than anything, is like when the personal affects the business. That's probably where I feel like conversations for me can get difficult, when people can't compartmentalize that this is business, it's not personal,
Yeah, I like that. So I have what I call my box. Don't get dirty on me. But no, like, in my
you set me up all the time for these, and I just have to, like, we'll be on calls, guys, and I'm like this just because I'm dying laughing.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, no, like, so in my head, so it's the same thing. Like, I compartmentalize, but, like, I'm like, well, got to put that back there and lock it up, and I don't need to hear about that again. But I think throughout just my life and my career in general, like, it gets pretty heavy in that box that I locked, and so it's like, sometimes you have to unlock it and unleash and let it all out, and have those moments where, I don't know, you're going boxing, you're crying, you're whatever you're doing, because it has to go somewhere, otherwise you're going to explode.
Yeah. And to your point, I think to start how we started this episode, you asking me, like, is that something I learned? Is that how I've always been? I mean, my dad, if he listens, if he even knows what I fucking do for a living, you know what I mean? Like, after all this time, I mean, who knows?
Another episode.
Yeah. Like, but he this is just, we're very assertive people. We just always are and have always been. That doesn't mean that I'm not a very emotional and empathetic person and don't get my feelings hurt and all of that stuff. But I actually just always been really direct with people because that's what I want. That's been my management style. That's been my approach to management. Like I said, I got promoted very early on and didn't really I had no fucking clue what I was doing. And so throughout all these years, I figured out what my management style is, like on my own, which I think each person has to do. I think you can get a mentor or a coach or somebody that can help guide you to find your style. But at the end of the day, your style is going to be your style. And I think also too, my perspective on what a difficult conversation has shifted too. As I get further and further in my career, the more conversations like that could be perceived as difficult I have to have. I don't really view them all the time as difficult conversations, although I know maybe the person on the other end does. Like if it's a performance conversation or if it's, I'll give you an example and I won't use any names. But and this example, there was an individual who was in a role whenever I got here who I could just tell it wasn't the role for her, didn't really enjoy it. It was a manager role. She was an amazing IC, amazing at what she does, but didn't really enjoy being a manager. And I could tell, once you've been a manager for as long as I have and managed people for as long as I have and had to get to know people as well as I have, like, I feel like I could pick up on that very quickly. And so, I moved her out of that role, and I say moved, she says demotion, but I just think it's perspective. But she actually ended up, moved her out of that role. She went in and was working with a client, getting back to what she loved to do and feeling those wins that you've talked about, like feeling that the production, you're getting those wins, you're getting candidates hired. And I was like, I promise she'll thank me for it. And then sure as shit, she came around and she's like, I see why you did that, And so at the time, I know that felt like a really difficult conversation for her. But I knew that wasn't what she wanted to be doing or needed to be doing. It's just, sometimes in different businesses, and this is truly the only place that I've ever worked at where this hasn't been the case. You typically, there's one ladder that you climb, and typically to get to the top of it, it's becoming a manager. You can't really be an IC and grow further and further in your career like you can here. And, kudos to you because you've given us all this unique opportunity to grow this way and grow this way. And it's really cool. It's unlike anything in any org I've ever experienced. But yeah, so I think that she thought, I need to be in that role. Like, that's just what you do. And there was a gap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was a gap that needed to be filled, so she filled it, and team players did what she needed to do, but you can just tell when somebody doesn't enjoy their job and really isn't you can tell when you've managed people this long. So anyways, like I said, she could have perceived that and probably did. And I know she did at the time. It was a difficult conversation, but I knew we would get to the end state that we got to, because again, you could just tell when somebody's not happy in their job. And yeah.
So the way So the way that you actually made that a comfortable conversation for you is you knew the end state, you knew your intention.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew my end state. I knew my intention, and it's not personal. It's business. And that wasn't personally making her happy in business either. It was impacting both of her worlds. And so I think that sometimes in just anything in life, myself included, we need an outsider's perspective to see things. And also I think too, there's these moments, and you and I have had these where you're like, you've checked me because I'm too far in it. Like, you're too far into something and you can't see what's actually there. You kind of see the narrative or what you've the story that you've told yourself, or what's you can't really see, here's what the facts are. You have to almost take a step back. And so I feel like having outsider perspective, because she was helping you build this business and a lot going on. And it was there was just other areas that I felt like she could add so much value, and did add so much value, and would also be a lot happier, because that actually really does matter to me. I know it matters to you, people being happy and enjoying their jobs. I mean, we're with the people that we work with, even remotely. We talk to our coworkers more than we do our family. And in theory, when we're in office, we're in office Sure. and around, our coworkers more than our family. So I feel like I can kind of compartmentalize those as a nice nasty. It's it may feel nasty at first, but it really is there's something better for you. And I promise your road to happiness is not this way. It's another path. your road to happiness, to success. And I just really think that my advice to everybody to getting comfortable with having difficult conversations is have them. You say it all the time, like get comfortable being uncomfortable. So whatever that looks like for an individual, whatever that scenario is, if having difficult conversations is one of the things that makes you uncomfortable, you've got to do it, and you've got to do it over and over again.
Yeah. So I guess in order to help people out here, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do I do or what have I done better lately on having good conversations? Because I think whenever you have to have a difficult conversation, a lot of people like drag it out. I think a lot of people play it in their head. They forecast, they have this literally the same conversation with someone and they're kind of fighting with them and they're catastrophizing. I mean, like there's so many things that people do in order to, one, avoid difficult conversations, and two, just make it a bigger deal than it has to be. So something that I love that you touched on is like, you just get it over with. Like the moment it happens, boom, done. Like, because if you draw it out even a day, it's like, it consumes you and you're triggered and you're not on your A game anymore.
Well, and that makes it more difficult because you're not getting it over with. Like the tension or maybe anticipation, or, you know, if somebody knows because we've experienced this, if somebody knows they're not performing and it's kind of on their radar, it's like prolonging a conversation is actually what I feel like makes it more difficult because of all the emotions that contribute to it. So yeah, when it comes to like, you know this about me, I'm a have the conversation person. Like, let's talk about it and then let's move the fuck on. But I'm one of those people, and I've always been this way, because of just how I grew up, but like I have to have the conversation to move on. I don't like to sit and let things fester. I don't like to like lose sleep at night. I don't want to do that to anybody else. I don't want people to sit alone with their thoughts because I've got anxiety, and I'm an anxious person by nature. And I feel like the stories that I can create in my head of even a difficult conversation I'm going to have and what their response could be, like the more I get in my head about it versus ripping the Band-Aid off, the worse it is. And like I said, that makes it more difficult. Like actually just confronting it head on before it's escalated to a point or snowballed to a point, or, you know, as you've touched on in previous episodes, the resentment builds. That all makes it more difficult than it actually has to be.
Yeah. So I think I think what a lot of people do is they say that it's a difficult, or they think a difficult conversation is like a confrontation. It doesn't have to be a confrontation. It's just a conversation. Like this is okay. We're not going to die from this. Again, our intentions is never to hurt feelings. So I think if you go into that, you'll come out stronger. I also read when I was very early on in building techies is I heard that essentially a leader is judged by how many difficult conversations they have a day. I was like,
oh shit.
Huh. Okay, that's what, you know, so I kind of process that sometimes. And then to me, I'm thinking, okay, let's just not define it as a difficult conversation or a confrontation. Let's just define it as, this is what's going to move the needle. This is what's going to help me. This is what's going to help them. This is what's going to drive business. I think we just have to rephrase it in our minds.
Yeah.
That's how you have
it. And difficult conversations, just for everybody listening, that's not just internal. I know that's the example that I use, but, you know, and this happened to me in my previous role quite often. It was difficult conversations with clients all the time. Like that is where, whatever you said, it really resonated with me, like how many you're having a day, because that was what I was doing was, you know, well, it's like, okay, well, you're our vendor. And it's like, we are the client. We say jump, you say how high. And that's not how I roll at all. You know, like this is a partnership. We will be treated like human beings. You will respect us. We respect you. You will give us the same respect. And I never shy away from having those conversations. And I will actually say my previous employer, was really the one, because I'd worked in those environments prior to that where you have to be like fearful of like, oh shit. We've had employees talk to us about this, you know, where they're like, I'm not used to this coming here where a client says this and it doesn't automatically mean you're fired. Like you get your side of the story heard and stuff. So, you know, those are the environments that I had come from prior to my previous employer, who really just empowered me to own relationships with our clients. And, you know, the biggest client we had. And it was one of those things where it's like, if I knew, to your point earlier, this conversation was going to help move the needle, you got to have it, you know? And so it's difficult. I would say I've probably had like more difficult conversations with clients than I've ever had with internal employees, because clients, we know how clients can be. We've had some amazing ones throughout our career. We've had some that are like, the ones I talked about, that their shit doesn't stink and you work for me and all of that. And it's like, no, it's a choice for us to be here and working with you. So that's one that I know a lot of people struggle with. And I was talking to one of our internal employees yesterday when I talked about the episodes and kind of go over like, what would someone want to listen to? And is this good? I would want to know this. So would someone else want to know this? And she actually like put this on my radar that this is one of the things that I do well. And she's like, and you don't sweat it with these clients. You're like, can you guys drop off with the phone and I'm going to handle this? And I'm like, because I just view it as truly, like you said, like moving the needle. I used other words, but it's like, this is going to help us move forward and help us be successful. This doesn't have to be viewed as confrontation. I would like you to hear my perspective. I would love to hear yours. It's a conversation. And I think that a lot of that is going back and summing this all up. It's mental. You have to change your thought process on how you approach these conversations and what you tell yourself they are. If you tell yourself they're difficult, they will be fucking difficult.
Yep.
Exactly.
I love that. And I hate, because I know we're definitely a little over time here. So I hate to cut this combo, because I think that a different episode will be the difficult conversations you have with clients, because I know at Techies, my thing was, we are not customer service. We are your partners. And that's very much where you and I align. And I love that, because that's such a huge thing. It's like, no, I don't just work for you. Like we help each other. Like I help you grow. I help you, it's like, if you don't trust me, if you don't respect me, if you talk down to me, this is not a relationship I'm interested in.
Yeah. We can't let them devalue us. And I feel like a lot of organizations that, like I said, that I've been at, that's what it is. A client's word is like law, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not about that. Like we're all human beings. We all deserve to be treated with respect. And yeah, I think that leading into my broke to boss tip, I would say that this one, we already touched on it, but it doesn't have to be viewed as difficult. It's not a confrontation. It's a conversation. And you and I have said that to each other in our one-on-ones, but that's truly, it's change your mindset about what the conversation is going to be. If you go into it thinking it's going to be difficult, jamming the pen in your hand, it's going to be fucking difficult. If you go into it with that smile on your face and like, this is just a conversation, and keep telling yourself that, and it's not personal, it's business, I feel like to me, my mindset and my mental changes everything. So it's not confrontation, it's a conversation.
Love that. I even know some people that now have that Post-it on their monitor, because, whenever you see things like that, it's like you're reminded all the time, yep, this is what I'm doing. Here's the intent. This will grow me and my career. I love that. All right. And actually now people get to see us shimmy.
We just select guys at the end of every episode. Now y'all get to watch. Now you get to see us shimmy. That's probably not appropriate, but unfiltered.
Yep, unfiltered. So definitely, we love that you're listening. We love all the outreach we get. It definitely touches our hearts. No, it feels good, and it also inspires us to do different episodes and all that stuff. So thanks for that. Definitely subscribe, and also subscribe to watching us on the Millionaire Recruiter YouTube.
And leave us some reviews. We'd love some reviews.
Oh, yes.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.